The latest tech.
I'm Alexa. I can answer your questions.
Interviews.
And we are evolving, and we are seeing an amazing opportunity that is happening.
Accessibility.
Accessibility is one of our core values. It's even a part of our mission statement.
This is DoubleTap TV.
Welcome to DoubleTap TV. Thank you guys so much for being with us each and every single week. Your support from at home makes our lives so much happier. So email us, feedback at AMI.CA. Of course, our email address on social media. Follow us at DoubleTap Canada. Use the hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap, and we always answer your questions, whether it's on the show, whether it's not on the show. We get to it. I promise we do. I am Mark AFLALO. Stephen Scott by my side each and every single week. Stephen, how you feeling this week? We're talking all about, I guess, personal assistance, but specifically an app that connects you with professional help when you need it. And I'm not talking about mental.
No.
Because that's another episode entirely.
Yeah, and a whole other app, I'd imagine, as well. This is a fantastic topic because we're seeing the growth in these systems now. And we're seeing a real growth in artificial intelligence and how it is helping people around the home. We're hearing companies like Amazon talk about robots that can help you in different ways. And yeah, the technology is not quite there. We've even talked about it in the show, technology which can help around the home for someone who's disabled. So there's real benefits in artificial intelligence, but sometimes you want to talk to a human being. Remember those? They used to be popular at one time. And, I love connecting with apps like Be My Eyes, which of course we've talked about here on the program. It's a fantastic app. You connect with a volunteer, and using the back camera of your smartphone, they're able to see what you see, so they're able to be your eyes. And that's absolutely brilliant for, matching socks, making sure there's no soup stains on your shirt, which in my case there probably is. And it just allows you the ability to get information without needing to feel like a burden around your family. You may have family around who can help you with this, but just having that control, the ability to say, I want to find out this information on my own terms, and get that information is great. But sometimes there are tasks in life that you need a bit more help with. So for example, you get a bank statement through and you maybe want to go through it. You want to check your bank. Well, you don't necessarily want to do that with a volunteer on an app because you don't really know who they are. You don't know their background. We assume they're nice people, but you don't know, right? You need a professional service, and that is where the company we're going to talk about today comes in, called Aira.
I have to rewind a lot here because I've got so many questions for you. And the first question really stems to, rewind time for a second before we were able to video chat with people. And I'm talking about, before iPhones, we were able to do it with Palm devices and stuff like that in some way, shape, or form. Even with a computer, for example, on Skype, you could seemingly connect with someone on a laptop and hold up a statement or get help that way. But before that technology existed, what did you do? Was it just relying on people that were in your vicinity, hoping they were sighted people?
Well, it depends on who you are, right? And it depends on your circumstance. But let's take the example of someone who lives at home alone, who doesn't have access to someone, maybe they have neighbours around them. But would you honestly take your bank statement to a neighbour and say, hey, could you check this for me? With all your personal information on there?
No, but that's why I'm asking what you did before. Like, what did you do before? Because I see, I think that anybody who might be losing their vision now really does see a proverbial light at the end of the tunnel because there is so much technology there, whether it's with a physical person that helps you or just the AI element, the fact that you could point your camera at something and it could tell you what you're looking at. That is so revolutionary, but it wasn't that long ago that this technology didn't exist. So what did you do then? What did you do at that time?
Well, going back to that example, that person who's on their own would have to devise a system to suit themselves, and that could involve getting one of those classic scanners that actually had speech built in. So you'd have a scanning device which looked like any traditional scanner of photos, if you think back to the 90s and even early 2000s, those big scanners. And those had technology in them that allowed them to speak out loud. So you could place a document on there and the information would be read back to you. But those scanners cost a lot of money. You could also send away your bank statement to get it turned into another format. So let's imagine the scenario. You get your bank statement, you want to read it, so you have to put it back into the post, send it to someone else, wait about 3 weeks, get it back, and then get it in your preferred format, be it audio, be it braille. But again, that's involving someone else in order to read your private information. So the only way was through technology like the scanning machines of old, which are still around today, and most of them still work very well. That's the thing about assistive tech. It tends to last a long time. But really, there were no ways for you to do things independently unless you had a lot of money to spend. Now, in work, it was a bit different. But I'm talking home use here. It's been a challenge for many years. And like you say, light at the end of the tunnel with apps like these.
It's amazing. I try to think about how much technology has helped, a community, and just the fact that it has a camera there and the fact that you can connect and transmit that image in real time is so incredible that, it serves a purpose that wasn't even, it wasn't intended to do that in the first place. It was there to capture moments. It was there as a gimmick to put on a phone. Let's put a camera on here. But the fact that it can be used to really liberate people and give that sense of independence back really is absolutely insanely amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Aira in more detail with our guest this week, but I think it's really important to understand the value of services like this. Be My Eyes as well, and seeing AI for the kind of, finding out what's happening, short text, if your computer's not working and there's just a line of text on the screen, what's going on. If it's a Microsoft PC, it's likely updating, but you want to know that so you can hold your phone up and it will read it, and that's absolutely fantastic. So you don't have to, you can use your phone in so many different ways. And I know people always say, Stephen, you're always going on about smartphones and how wonderful smartphones are, but they really are. They really are brilliant because they give you that access. They give you the capability. The phone itself is a device. It's great as a device, and it's got all kinds of cool, lovely features to it, very smartly designed and beautiful to hold and all that stuff. But it's the tools, it's the apps that are inside it that really make it amazing. And when you think about it, I literally can now pull a pair of working eyes out of my pocket whenever I need them, wherever I am, and I don't feel like a burden. I don't feel like I'm, asking someone for help. I don't feel like I'm being a problem for somebody else. I'm independent, and I'm in control of that.
Let's talk to Aira after we take a quick break here on Double Tap TV. He is Stephen Scott. I am Mark AFLALO. Back with them in just a moment.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit AMI.CA/DoubleTap. This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome back to Double Tap TV. Thank you guys for being with us. We're talking all about assistive tech on the smartphone, or thanks to the smartphone this week. I am Mark AFLALO with Stephen Scott, and we're welcoming our next guest, whose name is Janine Stanley, and she's the head of customer relations at Aira. Janine, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so I've alluded to a lot of this at the top of the show, Janine, but you're the expert here. So tell us, what is Aira?
So Aira is a visual interpreting service. And what that means basically is that there are, in our case, trained people, agents, who are on one end of a pipeline, and then the customer's on the other end, and we convey the information through the back-facing camera of your smartphone through an app called Aira. And conveniently enough, the company name. And our agents, for example, are trained for around 4 to 5 weeks of intensive training. It's a tough process to become an Aira agent. We are hoping to get this designation of visual interpreter, the same kind of respect and professional credentialing that a sign language interpreter has. So hopefully, that will be coming in the future. But that's basically what we are. And one of our customers said, it's like having eyes in your pocket. And that's pretty much true. You can, pull your phone out and have that agent tell you about anything or assist you with just about anything.
So would you say this is a service that is aimed at people who are in professional environments, like in the workplace, or is it for people at home? Is it for anyone? Who is this for?
It's for both, Stephen. Actually, it's there is a layer of Aira that is certainly for business and for work and for professional things where you need confidentiality, where you're dealing with sensitive information. But then there's the everyday use. I forgot the layout of these 5,000 buttons on my remote control. Or did I manage to put the right time in this inaccessible microwave? Or where is my trash bin on trash day when I have to put it out in the alley, and where is it? Did it go where it was supposed to go after they emptied it? Little things like that. So it's actually got a wide range of uses, and another one would be in the school setting. If you're going to college or university You're going to have Aira either in your classroom, in your dorm room, in the cafeteria, anywhere that you are.
You know, Janine, I've been reading a lot about your service, and one of the key things that really strikes me is that there's a built-in safety mechanism for the user. You know your information that you're sharing with an agent is in safe hands. That's important, right?
Well, especially when you're dealing with banking, and that is a very sensitive area for most of us. And we have a couple of banks that are based in the U.S. here, Bank of America and TD Bank, which are part of our Access Network. And the Aira Access Network is a group of organizations that are paying for your minutes to use the service while you use their product. And if banking is doing it, we also have a couple of insurance companies. This is really sensitive information. Our agents also go through a process of non-disclosure agreements, confidentiality agreements, etc. We're not quite in the U.S. HIPAA compliant. I'm not even going to go into what HIPAA stands for, but it's basically a Privacy Act around medical information. We're not quite there, but we're almost there. Almost that secure, which is a pretty high level of security.
That's great. And one of the wonderful things is you've got different options, right? You've got your various subscriptions, which is cool because you can buy a bundle of minutes, and then if you need more minutes, you buy more minutes. I'd love to see a pay-as-you-go model, but we'll talk about that another time. But let's talk about that free tier, because you still have, and from the beginning you've had this free 5-minute call that people can make, so you don't have to necessarily pay for Aira.
We have now limited our 5-minute calls to 1 free call a day if you don't have a plan. But if you choose to buy a plan, and there are all sorts of discounts out there depending on your affiliation and things like that. But if you choose to buy a plan, then you get 1 free 5-minute call every 4 hours. But then there are also all these access offers. If your JAWS isn't working, for example, it got stuck, your computer's totally silent, your Fusion product isn't working from Vispero, we have got an offer. We work very closely with Vispero, so an agent can come on, they can take a look and say, okay, here's what's going on the screen. Here's what we see as recommended to do by Vispero to get you back up and working.
We're in conversation with Janine Stanley from Aira. Now, Janine, we've discussed Aira before on the show, without you, of course, behind your back. And I remember examples such as reading mail, getting help with the computer, or even doing some cooking. All different ways to use the service. What are some of the other ways that I'm not thinking of right now that there are to use Aira?
Oh my gosh, navigating. I have talked to so many of our customers who had travel anxiety. You have a couple bad experiences and pretty soon you just don't want to go out of your house. And especially when you're newly blind, this is not taking over for blindness skills in any way. You've got to have those skills, but just having somebody along to spot you, to say that, yes, indeed, you have come to a street, not a driveway, and yes, indeed, here is the traffic light, and here are the various cycles of the traffic light. Now, you, blind person, make that decision to walk. That's a big one. Going to a social setting, going shopping in a mall. I'm one of those people. I'm an 80s kid, and I love the mall, and I love to take Aira to the mall because I can learn about what all the stores are. I can go into my favorite stores. I can get directions. I can do that food court, which is totally intimidating, and I can do that with my friends or my family and still be a part of it.
Janine, stick right there. We are in a conversation with Janine Stanley, Head of Customer Relations over at Aira. Joining, of course, myself, Mark AFLALO, and Stephen Scott. We're going to take a quick break and come back because we've got so much more to dive into. It is Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit AMI.CA/DoubleTap. This is Double Tap TV.
We're back on Double Tap TV. Thank you guys for being with us each and every single week. If you've got a question about this week's show, maybe you want to know some more features about Aira, then do let us know. Feedback at AMI.CA, the email address, and follow us on social media. It is at Double Tap Canada with the hashtag AskDoubleTap. We are in conversation with Janine Stanley, Head of Customer Relations over at Aira. Now, Janine, I got to ask you a question. I'm asking you to prognosticate a little bit towards the future because we're hearing all the rumblings about augmented reality glasses potentially coming from companies like Apple. There's things like HoloLens out there. Is that something that's on your radar, something that you guys are working towards, a wearable version of this technology?
Yes, and what we're hoping to do as we develop these various iterations of our app is develop an SDK. And that SDK is going to, and that's a software developer kit, that's going to allow other programs to hook into Aira. And that means that a smart camera can pair with your phone, and you can clip that smart camera to anything, depending on size, depending on operation, that kind of thing. But that's what's really going to allow that flexibility. And then glasses, all types of, glasses, anything with a camera can pretty much hook in. We are hoping to have that by the end of the year, but possibly into Q1 of next year. And I can't believe I just used that business speak, but hopefully next year by CSUN, you'll see the SDK working with some products. For example, if any of you have a Ring doorbell or a security doorbell, we can hook into your security company at some point in time. We'll be able to do that. And you can just say to the Aira agent, okay, I know there's somebody at my door. Describe that person, please.
Okay, let's talk about the big announcement at CSUN this year, which took place in Anaheim in California. A very interesting announcement because you've brought out this news of a desktop app for Aira. Now, what is this going to look like? Is it just a way for people who want to connect to Aira and have the Aira agent connect directly to their computer, or is it more?
Oh, it's actually a lot more than that. And we've been working on this for a while now. But Aira for Desktop is going to be a web-based app. And it will run on your PC or your Mac. And it will allow you, right now, you can work with an agent on your computer or your phone, actually more on the computer than the phone, through an app called TeamViewer. And anyone who has used TeamViewer knows it is problematic to log in. And that's where the real sticking point is. And you can take up to 5 minutes to get this thing up and going. Well, if you're a guest, you've just wasted your free 5 minutes trying to get your username and password, trying to get past the updates and the drop-down things in the app that appear and windows that cover up things. So we made our own app. And the way this is going to work is you will go to a website and you will be able to pull up the screen, sign in, and voila, there's Aira. Now, the good part about this is that you can actually, if you keep that website up and you don't close your browser, you're already signed in. There's also a Remember Me button, so when you hit that URL again, you don't have to go through that sign-in process again, etc.
Janine, could I use my webcam on my computer or tablet, for example, to get assistance that way too?
Absolutely. And what you can do with that is hold up your mail, hold up a can, whatever, a little bottle that you've grabbed. And if you're already working on your computer, and this happens to me all the time. My husband comes in, hands me a piece of mail. What is this? And I can just hold it up to the agent. The agent can say, it's upside down, flip it over. It's much easier to do. You're not juggling a phone and a piece of paper at the same time. And the agents say it's a much better picture through your webcam. It's a wider point of view, things like that. So it's easier to read things on the webcam. So you can check your makeup on the webcam, because I know that's important to you, Stephen. But you can also, if you're going into a Zoom meeting, and I often do this, okay, tell me, did I spill coffee on the shirt? Hopefully everything is good there. And so there are a few different uses. We're also building into the web app the ability to share files directly during the session with the agent. Now, what you have to do now is the agent has to email back and forth. If you say, okay, I have this file and I just need you to edit it. Can I send it to you? Would that be easier? Or I have a PDF that I don't have anything to convert it to a readable PDF. Well, our agents can do that for you and maybe straighten out any formatting errors, things like that for you during a session. And then they can send that back to you via email. Well, now you'll just be able to put them in a folder and you can exchange them right there in real time.
So it sounds like any web-connected device could benefit from this as a web app, right? So Chromebook users, for example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doesn't matter what browser, and we're doing alpha testing right now with a wide range. This will also be available for the iPad, for, I'm certain, any other tablets that are out there. As long as you can go to a website, we will try to make it work. Now, I don't know about Linux. Somebody's already asked us about that, and I'm not sure. I know nothing about Linux, so can't promise you that one, but I'm sure we'll have somebody testing it.
Janine Stanley, Head of Customer Relations at Aira, thank you so much for being with us on Double Tap TV this week.
Well, thanks. I'm excited to be here and to be bringing, hopefully, you more and more access locations throughout Canada and hopefully the world.
Stephen, this is one of those conversations that I feel we could have for hours and hours, because the way in which technology has touched just this minute little portion of assisting people is just continuously blows my mind. Just the ways in which I think that this could proliferate into different things down the road, as we talked about augmented reality and the AI element of the human element. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think, oftentimes with companies like Aira, I think, and I know they do think outside the box on this, but I see the opportunity going way beyond blind people. And I know that it sounds ridiculous when you think, hang on, blind people have got the answer and now you want to take it away. I don't want to take it away. I just want to expand it. I want to make it mainstream, because if that becomes mainstream, then we can all benefit from it. Take safety for women out and about on the streets. Having someone able to be connected to be contacted, and to be able to talk to someone who can action, for example, getting help, or contacting someone on your behalf.
Stephen, if people want to get Aira, it's available on every app store, I guess, just a quick download, right?
Yeah, you go to Aira.io for more information, or you can get your Aira app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.
And by the way, that's Aira.io, AIRA.io. Amazing. Thank you guys at home for being with us each and every single week. Again, if you want to get involved, feedback at AMI.CA. Let us know what your feedback is like, or what your experience is like with Aira if you used it before. And of course, on social media, it's at DoubleTap Canada with the hashtag AskDoubleTap. On behalf of Janine Stanley, our guest this week from Aira, and Stephen Scott, I am Mark AFLALO. We'll catch you again next week here on DoubleTap TV.
Hosted by Mark AFLALO and Stephen Scott. Editing, Jordan Steeves and Mark AFLALO. Integrated Described Video Specialist, Ron Rickford. Coordinating Producer, Jennifer Johnson. Director, Production, Kara Nye. Director, Programming, Brian Perdue. VP, Content Development and Programming, John Melville. President and CEO, David Errington. Copyright 2022, Accessible Media, Inc.